Hi, I am Stephen Robert Cass. I'm a worship leader, a songwriter, an artist, an author, and a sound engineer. If you want to know more about leading worship, being on a worship team, how to be a member, how to be a worship songwriter, how to self-publish books, and get free new worship songs for your church and mix sound at church, you're in the right place. Please stay tuned to this channel. All of my audiobooks are also uploaded here on YouTube for you, so you can listen to them today. My ministry is to empower worshipers and songwriters. Today, I'm talking about the overview philosophy for how I write and publish books as an independent book publisher. This is video 1 in the 7 writing books series called Develop Your Writing and Delivery Styles. So let's get to it. You can make a great step-by-step how-to get books published recipe. Make a full recipe for publishing books. That's all well and good, but that's not good enough. It's great to have that recipe, and I have it, and I will share it with you. But you need to get an overview philosophy on how to become an intriguing and sought-after book author so you can begin to build an author platform. There are many different ways on how you can build an author platform, but these videos will not get into that. So, how do you become that well-written, well-read author? Well, there are different answers for different types of book genres. There are writing fiction books where the writer really needs to get a handle on character and story development and really learn how to take the reader on a journey and through their fiction world and how to introduce characters and keep their stories moving and interesting, etc. This is developed only over time with trial and error and research. Then there is nonfiction writing style, which is what I do. Nonfiction encompasses the how-to world, and the writing style can be quite boring if all you do is give a list, 1, 2, 3, ABC, facts and figures, Bueller, whoosh, eyes glaze over. That's an old reference from the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Anyway, good nonfiction writers learn many of the great character development and ideas from fiction writers. How to introduce a story and keep that moving within their nonfiction writing. We tell our how-to stories wrapped up in another story and use other literature and use other literary devices to keep it interesting. These are types of elements I like to employ in my writing. Then there is narrative nonfiction, which is essentially a true story written in the style of a fiction novel. An example of that is a great way to present a story out of history, for example, to bring the characters to life and add interesting back information. So, no matter which type of writing, how in the world do you develop an entire process to produce a self-published book? And I'm talking about presenting a good-looking and professional work of art. Let's get started on my brand of nonfiction writing. As I said earlier, even though I'm writing a nonfiction book, if all I give are a list of facts and charts and numbers, especially if those are looking too busy in the presentation, they would confuse the reader or listener, and I'll lose them in about 5 seconds. One lesson I learned about this is that because I work as an engineer, and I need to give presentations all the time. So there are definite methods to keep presentations interesting, but one of the key elements is to not make your presentations too busy, your charts and pages full of too much stuff, or eyes will glaze over in a hurry. If you have any hope of keeping his or her attention during the presentation, you have to keep the information simple, focused, and directly written for them. Develop the information for them. Let that statement stand. Develop your information specifically for your target reader. The other background I have in creating compositions for listener or reader is that I'm a songwriter. The very best of songs are completely involving the listener, from the start to the finish. We songwriters may write songs, but they really belong to the listener. And a quick note, that is a quote from Jimmy Buffett, who just passed. God bless Jimmy Buffett, and thank you for your contribution to songwriting. So, those basic things. Keep the information focused and simple, and involve the listener by developing the information for them. These are the keys to writing any form of book. That, and the other very best tip I can give you today, is that you need to learn to write for your particular audience and wrap your information inside a story. We were built to communicate through each other. We were built to communicate with each other through stories and similes, allegories, and metaphors. What is my storyline for you today? That you can do it. You can write a book that you've always wanted to when you present them in these ways. Just remember to write for your audience, keep it simple, involve the reader from the start to the finish, and wrap your information inside a story. So I guess the best piece of advice I can give for you today, if you want to write books, you need to first develop your writing style and your delivery in the manners I just described to you. Do you have to develop and become a master before you write? Of course not. Just write and write and write and write some more. You know, letting some works out in public and then getting feedback is a great teacher. But when you're ready to assemble what you've written into a cohesive book, you'll have the confidence that your form of communication will stick to the reader. To the best of your ability, anyway. As you continually self-edit, and you'll hear more about self-editing in the video 3 of this series, step back on a regular basis and ask yourself, is this too complicated? How will this be received by my reader? Am I presenting my book in a manner that involves them? Where are we in the story that I am presenting to them? Am I wrapping my information inside a story or by character development? Am I writing for my reader, not to them? This has been video 1 of the Writing and Publishing Books the Indie Way series. There are 7 videos in this series. You'll see the titles on your screen. So, if this video spoke to you and you'd like to see more about this subject, please subscribe. Ring the bell on this video so you can receive notifications about these future videos. Would you also give me your comments below? I would love to hear your ideas and aspects about book publishing that you'd like to talk about or you'd like to hear about, as well as your feedback. Thank you.